my son and I volunteer for a rescue group in Asheville, an animal rescue group called Brother Wolf. And yeah, some of you know Brother Wolf. Well, after my husband died, it was kind of one of those things that we did just to keep ourselves going, you know. So we got 2 dogs from Brother Wolf. One is this big, beautiful running hound named Baby Dot. And she is wicked fast and very, very smart. She probably knows at least 150 words, some of them when they're spelled, like W-A-L-K, C-O-O-K-I-E. And then at the other end of the spectrum is Mr. Pip. Mr. Pip is a part Basenji, part Jack Russell, who looks like a tater tot with legs.
Oh, no, I does not. I is small and muscular.
Mr. Pip was originally owned by an animal hoarder in South Carolina who kept him in a cat crate under her trailer and gave him the unfortunate name of Dude. Well, when she couldn't pay her rent, the authorities came to evict her, and they found all the animals in various stages of neglect. And so they arrested her.
What? Yep. Oh, when the sheriffs come that day to evict her, they found all of us animals, almost 40 of us, all of us in pretty sad shapes. And they arrested her for animal cruelty. And they put her in the squad car. And then they got a bunch of trucks with cages in them. And they took all of us to this place called the shelter.
Well, the shelter that they took Pip to was a kill shelter. And it was full up.
Yup. The people at the shelter said to the sheriff, well, we might be able to take the little one and some of the cats up the mountain to Asheville. But the big ones, we's got to put down. And then somebody come and they let all the big dogs away. Bless their hearts. And then they put me in a van with a bunch of squalling cats and drove me up the mountain to Asheville.
Well, when he got to Brother Wolf, the vet there said that he wasn't even a year old, and he hadn't had any of his shots. Poor little guy.
What? Yeah, when I got to Asheville, they pulled me out of my carrier, and the one they called Doctor, he pulled up my gums and looked at my teeth, and he said I wasn't even a year old. And then he took out these big, long needles, and they held me by the scruff, and he gave me 3 shots. Bam, bam, bam. And then he stuck his finger up my and they squeezed this thick white stuff down my throat to kill all them worms they found when he stuck his finger up my
Well, poor Mr. Pip was filled with worms. But from the first time I saw his adorable little face, I knew he was going to be my little dog.
Yep. From the very first time I seen my mama, I knowed I wanted her to be my mama because she had the sweetest brown eyes and she smelled like fried chicken.
Well, we took Pip and we put him in the car and we brought him home. And when we took him back to the backyard, he just went nuts.
Huh? Sure I did. Oh, it was a great big fenced-in backyard for dogs to play in. And I wanted to run around and around and feel the wind in my fur. But no. The one they called Boy. He started dragging me up the deck, trying to put me into a crate. And I wasn't having none of it.
Well, when my son tried to put him into the crate to keep him separate from the other dog, he was not about to do it. He just dug his feet into the ground and cried and cried and cried.
What? Hell yes, I cried. I had had a hard day. I had been arrested by the sheriffs, drove up the mountain, had a doctor give me 3 shots and stick his finger up my whoop, and I had not gone through all that, only to go back into a box again. I wasn't not gonna do it.
So, when it became clear he was not going to go into that crate, we thought on it. My son came up with the idea that we could put him in the guest bathroom. So I filled up a great big bowl of water, gave him some food, and put a big old soft towel in the corner for him to sleep on. And he was very happy to go in there.
What? Sure I was. They took me into this big room that didn't have any windows in it. And there was this sheet with a lid on it and a roll of paper hanging off the wall. For writing letters to people, I guess. I don't know. I never has figured out what they does with that, but they sure use a lot of it. Well, I found my water, and I drank that whole big bowl of water. And then I ate my crunchies. And then, I was so tired. I went and laid down on that big soft towel and took myself a nap.
Well, we watched some TV. Everything seemed pretty quiet in there, so we just went to bed. And everything was fine until about 5:30 in the morning, when we awakened to the worst caterwauling and howling that you have ever heard. And then the running hound got in on the act. And so I ran out into the hall and said, "Shut up!" And for a minute, everything was quiet.
Oh, I could hear my mom out there in the hall. Sounded like she wanted to play with me. But I didn't think she remembered where I was at. So I started barking and barking and barking so she would remember.
Well, he started barking again, so I went and I opened the door just a crack, just to shut him up, when he dashed out between my legs and started running around the house.
What? Yeah. As soon as Mama opened that door, I did not waste my chance. I dashed out between her legs, and I started running around and around and around that house. Whee! I had hit the pay dirt. Not only had I found a really nice mama, I had a dog sister, I had a big fenced-in backyard, but I also had found people that let pets stay in the house. It was like a dream come true for me. But then, well, you remember how I told you that, I drank that whole big, bowl of water? Well, all of a sudden, I just needed to go. And I didn't know what to do. It was my first time to ever be in a house, so I just went.
All of a sudden, he just stood there and peed all over the den.
As soon as I done it, I knowed I was a bad dog. Because Mama's face swelled up like a toad, and she started asking all these stupid questions. Now, what is that? What? What does it look like it is? Now, who done that? What? You watch me, does it? Now, what is we gonna do about that? What? How should I know? This is my first time to go in the house. And then Mama grabbed me by the scruff and tossed me out into the black of the night.
I picked him up and put him on the deck. And then I started cleaning up the mess. And when I went to get my rags, I realized that the wormer was working too. And I finally got everything cleaned back up by about 6:30 in the morning, at which point it was too late to go back to bed. So I just made a cup of coffee and went out on the deck and sat in the glider. And there he was, running around and around and around the yard. And when he saw me, he stopped, and his little tail started wagging. And he ran up on the deck and hopped right up next to me and gave me a big kiss. And then he snuggled up next to my leg. And when I put my arm around him, oh, I knew he was going to be my little man. And that's when I named him Mr. Pip.
Oh, yeah. Me and my mama, we sat out there and we snuggled in the moonlight until the sun come up over my big fenced-in backyard. And I done the downward dog to thank the gods about it. And then I said, Mama, just look at it. It's a brand new day. Ain't it beautiful? You can do anything with it you want to. It's a day when dreams really can come true.
I see trees of green, red roses too.
I see them bloom for me and for you.
And I think to myself,
what a wonderful world.
Yes, I think to myself,
what a wonderful world.
Thank you.